Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to share with you how I got to the point I'm at today as a 28-year-old that is a full-time sports bettor. And it's a dream come true to say that. It's a dream come true to get to this point, but it took a lot of sacrifice and a lot of hard work and a lot of planning, goal setting, and executing to get here. And I know for a fact that many of you aspire to get to this point that I'm at. And I think sharing my story will help you guys tremendously. Even if you don't follow the exact path that I followed, I think that just hearing my story will be motivating, and maybe you can take whatever you take away from it. But I did a video that was similar to this in 2019 where it was titled How I'll Make 100K in My 20s Off of Sports Betting. And I ended up doing it this year. We're just over 100K at about 115K total profit in the year 2021, and we still have all of football season. It feels really good. It's pretty amazing. I'm glad that I got to this point. I was working hard to get here. Kind of happened in a crazy way, which I'll get to in the story that I'm about to tell, but I'm just extremely grateful. I feel extremely blessed, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you that supports the channel. If you are new here and this is your first time watching me, I post strategy videos, I post videos like this one, but mainly I post prediction videos every single day. So take a second to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stop by every day. I give a sharp prediction that doesn't make my premium card as a free pick every single day on the channel. So my first exposure to making money off of sports was when I was 12 years old, which is absolutely insane. At the time when I was 12, I just thought it was normal to me. I saw a fantasy baseball contest on MLB.com. This was back in 2006, I think, going into the 2006 MLB season. This was when like Albert Pujols was the top player in the MLB. I think it was the year Barry Bonds was getting intentionally walked like 4 times a game. You had Joe Mauer. Actually, I don't know if it was even Joe Mauer. I think it was before that. I think it was, I forget what the catcher's name. Victor Martinez, I think, was the top catcher. David Ortiz, top DH. It's coming back to me as I say it here. A-Rod and Jeter, third base and shortstop. Anyways, what I did as a 12-year-old is quite spectacular. And looking back on it as a 28-year-old, having contact with 12-year-olds like my younger brother and then my wife's younger brother, just kind of seeing how they act as kids, there's something that was different about me, like genetically different. And it works to my advantage in some cases. In some cases, it's a horrible thing. So it's just the way that I was born. It's just the way that my brain is wired. But as a 12-year-old, I found this opportunity to make $10,000 on MLB.com's website in fantasy baseball. And what I did was, this took hundreds of hours, which is amazing that a 12-year-old did it. But I took a piece of paper. I made 12 different Yahoo email addresses. And I basically rigged this competition so that I would have an extremely high chance of winning it. And I ended up getting I got 2 of my teams in the final 32. So it was a final 32 bracket, and my 2 teams were stacked because I controlled every owner in each of their leagues. I think I made like 20 separate leagues. So I had 20 stacked teams. 2 of them made it to the final 32. I mean, honestly, that story, like, I wish I could dig up those accounts and kind of relive that or break that down in a separate video. But it's pretty high level thinking for a 12-year-old. I mean, there were adults that didn't do it, because if they did, I wouldn't have made it in the final 32, right? But I diversified the portfolio enough to where even though 18 of my 20 teams didn't make it, 2 of them made it. So I was kind of rotating players. There was like 3 first basemen that I would use. There's 3 third basemen, things like that, so that I could kind of cover my bases if all the top guys slumped. But MLB.com ended up determining that I was cheating. I don't know how they figured it out. I'm sure it was obvious on their end, same IP address and things like that. But I'm convinced if I had gone to the library and used 12 different computers, I would have gotten away with it. Who knows? I was only 12, so I was definitely ineligible to win the prize money. But that's kind of where my sports gambling career started. It was in fantasy baseball. And I went on to play fantasy baseball and football and absolutely dominate at the high school level. Each year, I would get in as many leagues as possible, and I would win a very high percentage, maybe like 40%. Maybe 4 out of 10 times I would win the league, maybe even higher, just because I knew how to grind waivers and execute trades and build trades that made sense for the partner I was trading with, so they didn't feel like they got ripped off or scammed. They actually felt good coming out of a trade. And then, so I dominate fantasy sports from the time I'm 12 to 18, 19. And then when I go off to college, a kid that was in my dorm, a little tiny Asian kid, probably like 110 pounds maybe. He's a really small dude. He introduced me to sports betting. And that changed my life. I mean, that changed my whole outlook on sports, because you kind of go through this phase where when you're a kid, you play sports, and it's fun to watch sports when you're actively playing it, and you think, man, it'd be cool to play in the MLB one day, things like that. But once you are done playing sports, you kind of realize, like, wow, there's a lot more to life than just watching grown men play a kid's game. And when you discover sports betting, it really gives you a sense of purpose, a reason to watch the game, make profit off of your expertise on the teams. And I got into sports betting at that point. I started doing player props, pick 'em, all that. It was about 9 years ago. So I'm sports betting just like how you guys probably do, casually placing bets every weekend. Not really too crazy, not high bets or anything like that. $20, $50, really broke college student, but I'm making predictions. Then I end up going on a TV show, winning a TV show on MTV called Stranded with $1 Million. Now, it was my plan since I was 19 to win a TV show. I had my sights set on Survivor and Big Brother on CBS, and then I wanted to get on the challenge on MTV. So that's why I ended up going on this survival show on MTV. It didn't lead to anything more, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. But I wanted it to lead to more. It didn't, though. I ended up winning $125K because I can sleep in the rain and starve, and I have no problem with doing that for money. So I go out there in Fiji, sleep in the rain, starve, no worries, no issue. I grind out 40 days, and I get my 6-figure check from MTV. After that, I acquired a skill to talk on camera. What I'm doing right now, 9 out of 10 of y'all probably wouldn't feel comfortable just sitting in a room, talking into a camera, staring into the lens. And I always wanted to make content, but I never really knew how to talk on camera. It was always super awkward and cringy, and it's probably cringy, but yeah, I just couldn't do it. So what I did was I started a YouTube channel, and I just started making random videos about things that I liked. I made a video explaining the odds, because when I first got exposed to sports betting, I didn't know what like minus 135 meant. I didn't know what like a line in football, like plus 7.5 points. I didn't really understand what that meant. So I made a video just on the basics. And then one of my fans that watched me on MTV, he recruited me to sell picks. He showed me, he's like, dude, I've been selling predictions. He was deployed, not to Afghanistan, he was deployed somewhere else. But he was literally on an army deployment, obviously a pretty laid-back deployment. And he was giving out predictions online and selling them. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize people sold predictions like that. Because for me, I know how to make good predictions, so I never really saw the need to buy. But now, obviously, I know there's a lot of people out there that they love sports betting, but they don't know how to come to conclusions, or they're just not good at predicting games, so they rely on people like a sports consultant to make picks for them. So that I got the exposure to that. I started watching all the Doc Sports videos, all the Wager Talk videos, pretty much anybody who puts out free picks every single day on YouTube. I started watching everybody religiously, kind of paying attention to what they're doing. And at first, I thought that it was, I thought it was a scam, and I thought it was corrupt to sell picks. I came around to it. I tried doing it. Ultimately, I felt too guilty, because I know that I win more than I lose, but when I have a losing day, I just couldn't really bear that pressure. It's different. And if you ever sold picks, you know when you make picks and you have 100 people betting on your prediction, you feel more pressure than if you're just betting your own money. Now, I moved past that now, obviously. I understand that, hey, I'm doing my best. I'm winning more than I'm losing. If people are sticking to the units and they're betting exactly my games, they're going to profit. So I feel good about it, even if we have a losing day, which we do all the time. We have losing days, losing weeks, but long term, we always are up. But yeah, so from there, I started selling picks. I started doing free picks. I was a little confused. Got burnt out. I didn't have a big enough bankroll to really make that much money betting. So I kind of didn't like to sell picks when I personally couldn't bet on every game myself. I mean, I just couldn't afford to. I was living month to month, doing anything to make money, reselling shoes, just really hustling in every way possible. And I ended up getting a full-time job in the Army as a recruiter. So I go from part-time National Guard to full-time National Guard, and I invest every dollar I have into resell, sports cards and shoes. I then realized, holy cow, you can make a lot of money in recruiting. So then I start recruiting for a door-to-door sales team. I run a door-to-door sales team in the summer. At that point, I finally had enough money to bet significant amounts, at least a few $100 a game. So $100 units, nothing crazy. So I start betting again, start making predictions, probably like 2 days a week on YouTube. At this time, this was last summer, so I was like 26. And I sell MLB All Access because MLB is one of my best sports. I end up selling it to one person, which is not good because that means I got $300 and I had to do a prediction every single day. That was part of the deal. And it forced me to handicap every single day, which was good in hindsight. But that's pretty crazy. That's about worst case scenario if you're selling picks. So it's crazy to look back on that. At the same time, I was making a lot of money off of running a door-to-door sales team and selling door-to-door myself. So I'm building up my income, making more money than I ever had before, and I'm building all these multiple streams of income, which is incredibly important. As a sports bettor, you need multiple streams of income because some months you're not going to profit, or you're not going to profit as big as you would like. So I end up going through the full off season, acquiring a skill to grow TikTok pages. So this is gonna all come together, I promise. So I build an entrepreneur TikTok page up to 780K, I think it is. Business for Teens is the account. Built up another account to 300K. I'm building all these TikTok accounts. Like in my sleep, I can build a TikTok following. I get to where we're about to go out for the summer to Oklahoma and sell door to door. And I tear my Achilles in a flag football tournament. So I actually meant to mention my mom gets diagnosed with cancer before that. So my mom gets diagnosed with cancer. I'm about to go out to sell door to door in the summer. My mom probably has 6 months left, 6 to 8 probably is what the doctors would tell her. I don't really ask what the doctors say, you know what I mean? She doesn't either, but I can kind of put 2 and 2 together. Tear my Achilles. I'm religious. Doesn't matter if you are or not, right? Make your own decisions. So I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus. And I cannot believe I tore my Achilles looking back on it, but that was the greatest thing that could ever happen to me because I'm on bed rest. All I can do now to make money, since I can't walk, is study games, handicap games from my bed, and post free picks. I started doing it on TikTok. I built a very large following. I go on like a 19-2 run to open the sports betting education page on TikTok, and a lot of people start paying me a lot of money. So even though I'm only making about $1,000 to $3,000 a month off my own bets, because I'm consistently making a couple $1,000 a month, there are hundreds of people willing to pay me for that. And you might be one of them watching this video. I mean, there's so many people that lose $5,000 a month gambling. They might lose $1,000 a month. So if you can take someone who's losing $1,000 a month and charge them $300 for a service that'll make them $1,000, they're not paying you to make $1,000. They're paying you for that whole difference. So it might be like $6,000 to them difference between losing 5 and making 1. So I'm not only making money betting, but I'm making money off of affiliate marketing, getting people to sign up for these accounts, which is no secret. You know, you get a $750 bonus, I get a $100 bonus when you sign up. And I'm combining all of these skills I put together. Now, the most important thing for me now, other than like getting to do something that you love is super exciting, and make money from home doing something that you're passionate about, I mean, that unlocks kind of the keys to life. That's like a super exciting thing. But the biggest thing is I get to spend time with my mom throughout the summer, which I was not going to get to do. And I'm able to make an amount of money that hopefully will be enough to help my dad retire, because I want him to get to experience retirement. You know, my mom unfortunately isn't going to get to live out her retirement years like she had planned, but that's kind of what motivates me. And obviously financial freedom, being able to travel, everything like that. Like, you guys all, I'm sure, have thought of what it'd be like to be rich and make a ton of money. But that's mainly the big thing that motivates me, is helping people, making an impact, helping people go from losing money betting on sports to winning money betting on sports. You can't really like measure that. That's something that means so much to me. And if you ride with me, if you bet with me, you know that I put in the work to make sure that you make money. But then also, you know, setting my family up. But yeah, that's where I'm at today. So really, thankfully, you know, I was making enough money to have a side stream of income, but then building a following within the niche of sports betting allowed me to, you know, make a lot more money, make a full-time living. And in the year 2020, well, we'll see what happens this football season, but in the year 2022, I'll be making $100K off of my own personal bets, which is very exciting. And, you know, it takes a very big bankroll to do that. Probably a bankroll about 4 times that amount, 3 times that amount maybe. But that's how I got to this point. So wanted to share my story with you guys just because I think it will help you. I think it'll help inspire you, kind of show you the light. I think what's realistic for most people, at least for the foreseeable future, unless you have like millions of dollars or something, is sports betting is going to be a nice side stream of income. It's going to be something that is more of a hobby, something that you do to supplement your full-time work, your active income. And if you let me do the work for you, it can be a passive stream of income, which ultimately is an extremely valuable thing. But it's not realistic to get to 100K a year unless you have like a 5-10 year plan. So I want that to be clear too, because a lot of people that sell picks will sell this pipe dream of you getting rich overnight. But I really want to bring transparency to the game. And I think there's a lot of people out there, a lot of good people like me, that are bringing transparency to sports betting. But yeah, I just wanted to share my story, kind of put you guys on some game, share like how I got to this point. So I'm super excited. Really hoping Texas can legalize gambling soon. But I still have goals where I want to have a 100K win on a bet. If I was in a different place financially right now, I would definitely go all in on the Chargers over 9 wins this season. I think Justin Herbert's going to have an MVP year. But yeah, that'll come. That'll probably come in 2022. Or hell, maybe by the time the Super Bowl gets around, maybe we'll go to Vegas and throw down. that'd be absolutely insane. But yeah, guys, I love y'all. Thanks for watching to the end. If you haven't subscribed, if you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button, join the community, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching to the end. Good luck with your bets. Peace.